don't play that.
Remember when Fox took a chance on a sketch show so bold and so unapologetic that network executives spent 5 years nervously watching the ratings while clutching their legal disclaimers? Yeah, that was In Living Color. Created by Keenen Ivory Wayans, the show ran from 1990 to 1994 and became the sketch comedy revolution nobody saw coming. Keenan hosted, produced, and steered the chaos while his siblings and a wildly talented ensemble turned Sunday nights into must-see TV. Damon Wayans gave us Homey the Clown. Jim Carrey unleashed Fire Marshal Bill, the pyrotechnics safety instructor who probably violated every OSHA regulation ever written. Kim Wayans created Benita Buttrell, the gossip queen who could destroy reputations with a smile. Jamie Foxx introduced the world to Wanda. And the Fly Girls, led by choreographer Rosie Perez, brought hip-hop energy to primetime while introducing us to moguls in making. And while the sketches made us laugh, there were some seriously weird, wild, and surprising things happening behind the scenes.
When will they ever learn? Oh well. Who wants marshmallows?
Yeah! Today, we're counting down 15 weird facts about In Living Color. But before we jump in, hit that like button and subscribe. Someone has to keep the memory of 90s sketch chaos alive. Now, let's get into it with number 15. Fire Marshal Bill nearly got canceled before you ever met him. Jim Carrey made his comedic breakthrough on In Living Color. Long before he created them for the big screen, Keenan welcomed his crew's ideas for new characters, and Carrey had just the thing. A deranged fire safety instructor who looked like he'd personally tested every warning label in existence and ignored all of them. Fox executives heard the pitch and immediately said no. They thought that the Fire Marshal Bill character was too violent and way too likely to get them angry letters from concerned parents and actual fire marshals. The network that greenlit Married with Children suddenly had standards. But Carrey wasn't giving up. He believed in the character, and more importantly, he knew the audience would love him, so he kept pushing, kept pitching, and eventually wore them down enough to let Bill appear in one sketch, just one, a trial run. Let me show you something became an instant catchphrase. People were quoting it at work, at school, in grocery store lines. Fire Marshal Bill was a hit before Fox even realized what happened.
Is anyone else here going to the policeman ball? I'm sensing a little bit of racial tension. Well, two can play at that game. Yeah! First check on human life.
And yet the network still tried to kill him. Week after week, executives asked the producers to retire the character. Week after week, Carrey brought him back. More singed, more chaotic, and somehow even less concerned with workplace safety. Eventually, the network just gave up. They stopped fighting it, stopped sending notes, and let Fire Marshal Bill become one of the show's most iconic recurring characters.
Let's just say it's after dinner, you've got a fork in your hand, somebody says, hey, I got deliveries. Where?
Fire Marshal Bill, are you okay?
Number 14, the Wayans family walked out mid-season and took the show with them. The cast of In Living Color walked onto the set wearing sunglasses for the entire Christmas episode. Not because they thought it looked cool, but because they were done. This was the Wayans family's version of a resignation letter, performed live in front of a studio audience while Fox executives frantically tried to figure out what was going on. Basically, Fox wanted the show sanitized. Fewer controversial sketches, less political edge, and nothing that would scare advertisers. But the real breaking point was when the network pushed In Living Color into early syndication and cut Keenen Ivory Wayans, the show's creator, out of the money and the decision. Keenan stopped appearing in sketches. Then he quit as showrunner. Damon left, Kim left, Sean and Marlon followed. The Wayans didn't just leave individually, they left as a unit because that's what families do when someone messes with one of them. Jim Carrey saw the writing on the wall and bailed for his movie career. Kim Coles left to star in her own series. Other cast members drifted away, and Fox scrambled to replace them with new faces and safer material, but you can't run In Living Color without the Wayans. That's like doing a Beatles reunion with 4 guys named Steve. Season 5 stumbled along with watered-down humor and a cast nobody recognized. Ratings collapsed. In 1994, Fox canceled the show. The network spent years trying to control the Wayans, and in the end, they lost them entirely, along with the only show that ever made Fox look daring. Number 13, the show was created to fight SNL's diversity problem, and Fox almost killed it for being too urban. Saturday Night Live in the late 80s had a, let's call it diversity problem. They'd hire one black cast member per decade and act like they'd solved racism.
Oh, he ugly. Call the police. Call the authority.
But look, just remember, my name is Darnell, okay? Look at my hair. See? D for Darnell.
Damon Wayans spent one season on SNL getting handed weak material and weaker screen time. His brother Keenan watched the whole thing and decided he'd had enough of waiting for the old guard to catch up. So he created In Living Color, a sketch show where black comedians, Latino performers, and artists of color weren't tokens. They were the show. Keenan wanted comedy that reflected actual urban life. It had to be loud, bold, political, messy, and unapologetically real. Not the sanitized version that dominated primetime. Even the title was a dig at NBC's old, now broadcasting In Living Color Peacock logo. Keenan wasn't subtle about his goals. Fox executives loved the pitch. Then they saw the pilot. Panic set in immediately. The show was too urban, which is network speak for too black, too honest, and too likely to make our sponsors nervous. Fox waffled. They hesitated and nearly shelved the whole thing before it ever aired. Keenan wasn't about to let a boardroom full of skittish executives kill what he knew would work. He repitched the show with the same material with slightly gentler framing, and suddenly those two urban sketches weren't a problem anymore. Funny how that works. Depending on who tells the story, Keenan may have also accidentally leaked the pilot to a journalist. The rave review that followed made Fox very interested again very quickly. The show premiered to 20 million viewers, it won an Emmy in its first season, and Fox learned an expensive lesson. Too urban was actually just exactly what audiences were waiting for.
You're right. I'm not good enough for you.
Hey, where you going? Now, don't be ashamed just because you're a white boy. I mean, I don't mind having a little cream in my coffee.
Number 12, the censors had a too hot for TV pile, and the writers treated it like a game. Every week, the In Living Color writers turned in scripts. Every week, Fox's Standards and Practices censors read those scripts and had what can only be described as a small panic attack. Race, sexuality, politics, religion, anything polite television wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, In Living Color grabbed with both hands and made a sketch about it.
Now listen, if you want some real excitement, I can recommend some video cassettes in the action film genre.
Oh, like you mean, like Pee-wee's Big Adventures?
No, I saw Pee-wee's Adventure. It wasn't that big.
The censors performed triage. Entire sketches got killed before they ever made it to rehearsal. The rejected material piled up so fast that people started calling it the Too Hot for TV vault. Not a literal vault, probably, but the archive was real. The writers fought back with misdirection. They'd load scripts with decoy jokes so outrageous that censors would spend all their energy killing those, completely missing the slightly less insane material the writers actually wanted to air. Classic bait and switch. The censors would red pen the most offensive bits, feel like they'd done their job, and wave the rest through. Other times, the writers snuck in coded jokes the censors didn't catch. Cultural references that were too niche for network execs. Jamaican patois insults buried in Headley family sketches. Foreign language curses that sailed right past Standards and Practices because nobody in the room spoke Spanish.
Put a drink up there and start playing while I take care of Pop and Jump. You lazy coconut blood clot. Get out of here.
Edgier versions of sketches occasionally made it to air. Fox would freak out afterward, and the writers would shrug and do it again next week. Number 11, Homey the Clown was Damon Wayans' corporate revenge. Homey don't play that. 4 words, a sock, and a disgruntled ex-con in clown makeup. Somehow that became one of the biggest cultural phenomena of the early 90s. Before In Living Color, Damon Wayans spent years grinding through comedy clubs and corporate gigs, rooms full of people who wanted safe, clean, and non-threatening.
Yeah?
Hey, clown. Can you guess my wife's weight?
Sure, $1. Okay, she's about, I'd say, one fat bitch.
Damon was none of those things. The mismatch was legendary. He'd walk on stage ready to blow the roof off, and they wanted jokes suitable for a company picnic. So he did what great comedians do. He turned his frustration into material. Homey the Clown was Damon's catharsis, an anti-authority, anti-establishment mascot who refused to perform on anyone else's terms. You want him to juggle, dance, do balloon animals? Homey don't play that. The brilliance was that Homey wasn't just a character, he was a statement. Damon used him to poke at the hypocrisy of society, the expectations of entertainment, and the absurdity of trying to package rebellion into something polite. Kids quoted him on playgrounds and adults bought the merch. School teachers had to ban the phrase in certain classrooms. Homey became one of In Living Color's most iconic personas because he embodied the show's entire ethos. Bold, sharp, unfiltered, and impossible to sanitize. Damon Wayans didn't just create a clown, he created a cultural event wearing face paint and holding a sock. Number 10, In Living Color's Super Bowl stunt changed halftime shows forever. January 26, 1992. CBS aired Winter Magic during Super Bowl 26's halftime show featuring figure skaters Dorothy Hamill and Brian Boitano, plus a 30-foot inflatable snowman that looked like it escaped from a mall Christmas display. Fox took one look at that lineup and decided to steal CBS's audience. They counter-programmed with a live football-themed episode of In Living Color, a sketch comedy show going head-to-head with the biggest TV event in America. The audacity alone should have gotten them laughed out of the room. Instead, more than 20 million people flipped over to Fox during halftime.
You can show me how to play. Teach me. Go ahead.
Okay, you have a ball?
I think I have one right here. Yeah, I think I played this one before. All you have to do is stay high and take the little blue ball and start running. But isn't that gonna hurt you?
CBS lost over a fifth of its Super Bowl audience in real time, watching their ratings leak like a busted pipe. Fox even put a countdown clock on screen so viewers knew exactly when to switch back before kickoff. Polite sabotage at its finest. Frito-Lay paid $2 million to sponsor the whole stunt. Chump change by today's Super Bowl standards, but enough to make the gamble work. The fallout was immediate. The NFL panicked. In 1993, they got Michael Jackson, and he delivered the first halftime show that actually got higher ratings than the game itself. After that, halftime became a cultural event. Springsteen, Beyonce, Prince in the Rain, Shakira, and J-Lo, the entire modern spectacle. All because one irreverent sketch show on a scrappy baby network decided they wanted to supply the entertainment on America's biggest sports night.
Deadly combination! Howdy, folks. I'm Fire Marshal Bill, here to make sure your Super Bowl Sunday is a safe one.
Number 9, Keenen Ivory Wayans didn't direct every episode, but he ran the show like he did. Most sketch shows spread the workload across a rotating crew of directors. Different voices, different styles, and different visions, which is why most sketch shows feel like a patchwork quilt stitched together by committee. In Living Color technically had multiple directors over its run. But here's the thing, Keenen Ivory Wayans controlled everything that mattered. He was the creator, the showrunner, the head writer, the executive producer, the host, a featured performer, and the guy shaping every script, every edit, and every joke before it ever hit the stage.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. We got a special guest in the house who wanted to come hang out with us and say goodnight. Come on, Flavor.
Yeah!
Other directors might have operated the cameras, but Keenan tuned the tone. If a sketch didn't fit the show's sharp, unapologetic voice, it didn't make it past him. Directors blocked the scenes, but Keenan controlled the vision. That's why In Living Color felt radically different from SNL or even Mad TV. The workload was insane. Running a weekly sketch show is already chaos. Running it while also performing in sketches, hosting, writing, producing, and dealing with Fox's standards and practices department goes beyond chaos into something closer to masochism.
One. Hello, we are Milli Vanilli. You know, a lot of people don't understand the enormous success of Milli Vanilli.
And neither do we.
But we are here today to tell you that you too can be Milli Vanilli with lots of positive energy.
Keenan's exit might have been during season 4, but by then he'd already built the template. The show kept going without him, but just like trying to make grandma's cookies without her, something was clearly missing. Number 8, In Living Color brought hip-hop to primetime, long before anyone else would touch it. What In Living Color did next wasn't a risk, it was a broadcast revolution disguised as a sketch show. In 1990, hip-hop on mainstream TV meant one thing: Yo MTV Raps late at night on cable where the gatekeepers felt safe. Primetime network television wouldn't touch rap with a 10-foot pole. It was too controversial and too likely to scare sponsors. Then In Living Color said, actually, we're putting this on every week. Starting in season 2, the show made hip-hop a regular part of its format. Every week, right between sketches, Fox viewers got hit with a live performance from artists MTV barely knew what to do with yet. Queen Latifah kicked off things as the show's first musical guest. Heavy D and the Boys performed and recorded the theme song. Then came Public Enemy with Flavor Flav spinning clocks on national TV. Then you had TLC, Eazy-E, Mary J. Blige, Criss Cross, A Tribe Called Quest, Tupac, Gang Starr. Artists who would become legends were suddenly performing for millions of viewers who'd never heard of them.
I know that we've been here before, the candlelight in you.
This was before the Grammys recognized rap, before MTV even fully embraced it. In Living Color put the genre on the biggest stage it had ever had. Now we're gonna take a quick pause, because if you're loving this trip back to when sketch comedy actually took risks, make sure to like and subscribe. We've got weird facts and forgotten TV chaos dropping every single week. Now let's get back to the countdown with number 7. The studio was so small they built sets in the hallways. Now here's what the cameras never showed you. The entire show was being crammed into a space barely bigger than a 2-bedroom apartment. In Living Color looked like a sleek, high-energy, full-scale TV production. Bright lights, elaborate sets, dancers flying across the stage, a group of siblings transforming into an insane amount of different lunatics per episode. But now imagine all of that happening in a building roughly the size of a dentist's office. In the early seasons, the show filmed on Stage 7 at Metro Media Square, a space so cramped it made storage closets look spacious. Fox was still the scrappy new network with a baby budget, so the cast and crew basically operated out of a comedy clown car. Costume changes happened in the hallways, not backstage, in the hallways. Actors would sprint off stage, tear off a wig, throw on a new outfit, and shimmy around a lighting rig while a fly girl tried not to kick them in the face. Fire Marshal Bill, Wanda, Homey the Clown, all those elaborate characters got assembled in whatever corridor happened to be empty at that moment, and spoiler alert, that was almost never. But none of that limitation made it onto the screen. Somehow, against all logistical odds, In Living Color looked polished, fast-paced, and bigger than life. The cast brought the energy and the writers brought the fire. Meanwhile, shows with 10 times the budget were still parking their cast in the same 3 living rooms and bland office sets. In Living Color was bouncing from prison yards to beauty salons to fake game shows to full-on music video parodies, which were sometimes built out of plywood and hope in a hallway 5 minutes before taping. They didn't just stretch $1, they turned loose change into whole alternate universes every Sunday night. Number 6. Jim Carrey went from living in a van to breakout star in less than a year. Now, years before Fire Marshal Bill, Jim Carrey was sleeping in a Volkswagen camper van in Canada. His dad lost his job, the family lost their house, and teenage Jim spent most nights parked in random lots or crashing in a tent on his sister's lawn. By day, he worked as a janitor. By night, he chased comedy. And somewhere in between, he wrote himself a $10 million check post-dated for Thanksgiving 1995 and kept it in his wallet as a promise that the future would eventually catch up. Then In Living Color happened. Within months, Carrey exploded on the show.
Throwing this explosive device into the end zone. You scored the TD. You're having an epiphany. You're gonna celebrate. Everybody run!
Fire Marshal Bill, Vera DeMilo, the deranged background extras. His characters were so unhinged that Foxx basically rearranged the schedule just to feature him more. Carrey was earning $25,000 per episode, making him one of the show's highest paid and most indispensable cast members almost instantly. And the momentum didn't stop. Within a few years, that $10 million check he'd written himself as a broke teenager wasn't a fantasy anymore. It was his actual quote. And once he blasted out of that soundstage, he basically took over the 1990s. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Cable Guy, Liar Liar, every year was another live-action cartoon with a pulse. Then he flipped the script in the 2000s with The Truman Show, Man on the Moon, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, proving the rubber-faced goofball could also break your heart. But the DNA for all of that started on In Living Color. Fire Marshal Bill, Vera, all those deranged background weirdos, they were lab experiments he cooked up under the Wayans roof. Without that sketch show giving him full permission to go unhinged, half the characters that defined his career might still be sitting in a notebook somewhere.
Hey, go, little Eric, go! Go, hurry! Fly away! Are you crazy? Give me my ball!
Good boy, Bruiser.
Oh, you...
Number 5, Jennifer Lopez's Fly Girl era ended in tension and launched a superstar. In season 3, Jennifer Lopez was one of the Fly Girls, trying to stand out in a lineup of dancers who never missed an 8 count. Behind the scenes, though, things weren't nearly as flawless. There were creative disagreements, clashes in rehearsal, and rising tension between Lopez and some members of the choreography team, including Rosie Perez, who had originally pushed for her to join the show. Lopez has openly said she was unhappy during parts of her time there, but while the lore often claims she was fired, no reputable source confirms an official dismissal. What is documented is that the environment had become strained and Lopez made the decision to leave the show and bet on herself. And that choice changed everything. Once she walked away from In Living Color, Lopez immediately jumped into acting. She appeared as a dancer in Janet Jackson's That's the Way Love Goes video, which put her on major industry radar. Then came her star-making role as Selena, instantly shifting her from background dancer to respected leading actress. From there, she leveled up so fast it looked supernatural. Out of Sight, The Wedding Planner, Made in Manhattan, a global music career, sold-out tours, Vegas residencies, and a Super Bowl halftime show. Whether she left the show on tense terms or simply outgrew it, the end of her Fly Girl chapter became the beginning of one of the biggest entertainment careers of the modern era. Jenny from the Block didn't just leave the dance lineup, she left to build an empire. Number 4, Rosie Perez revolutionized the Fly Girls without a single day of formal dance school. The Fly Girls were one of In Living Color's secret weapons. The beats dropped, the lighting snapped on, and suddenly you were watching the coolest choreography on television. It was raw, fast, and unapologetically street, all created by someone who never set foot in a professional dance academy. Rosie Perez wasn't trained at Juilliard. She didn't grow up in ballet studios. She learned tap and modern dance from nuns, picked up moves managing her high school cheer squad, and developed her hip-hop style on the dance floors of LA clubs. That's where a talent scout spotted her and pulled her onto Soul Train. No training, just pure instinct. Spike Lee saw her at another club and cast her in Do the Right Thing. Her opening credits dance became one of the film's most memorable moments. But here's what most people don't know. Rosie was already choreographing professionally before In Living Color. Janet Jackson, Bobby Brown, LL Cool J, Diana Ross. She was shaping the look and feel of late 80s and early 90s music videos before Keenen Ivory Wayans ever called. So when he hired her to choreograph the Fly Girls, he wasn't taking a chance on an unknown, he was unleashing someone who'd already been setting trends. Rosie earned 3 Emmy nominations and influenced an entire generation of music videos, commercials, and pop culture choreography. And that was just the launchpad. She went on to become an Oscar-nominated actor for Fearless, stole scenes in movies like White Men Can't Jump, and later co-hosted The View, still bringing that unfiltered Rosie energy, just with a coffee mug instead of a headset and a whistle. Number 3, Kim Wayans' Benita Boutrell proved she could go toe-to-toe with her brothers. Now, Fire Marshal Bill and Homey the Clown were great and iconic characters, but I think we'd all agree that the crown jewel in this ensemble doesn't go to the fellas. It was a gossiping neighbor in a headscarf who could destroy someone's reputation in 30 seconds flat.
You ought to be scared too with a convicted felon serving on the jury. I can tell she hitting that crack pipe again too. Done got so skinny, looked like she could hang glide on a Dorito.
Kim Wayans' Bonita Buttrell didn't just spill tea, she weaponized it. Bonita would step up right to the camera, smile sweetly, and launch into the most savage gossip imaginable. Her favorite target was always poor Miss Jenkins, who she loved dearly right before comparing her to Chewbacca with a wheeze. It was mean, but brilliant. The legend says Bonita's barbs got the show sued multiple times, but the truth is less dramatic. In Living Color faced plenty of legal headaches over the years, but no evidence points to Bonita triggering a courtroom avalanche. The show's overall edginess kept Foxx's legal team nervous. Bonita was just one piece of that entire chaos. Kim Wayans was the only Wayans sister in the In Living Color spotlight, holding her own in a family full of loud, fast, dominating comedy brothers, and she did it without breaking a sweat. Keenan created the show, Damon was a firestorm, Sean and Marlon bounced off the walls, and in the middle of that testosterone tornado stood Kim, carving out her own comedic identity without ever being overshadowed. Fans loved her so much that she revived Bonita years later for a voter PSA. The character proved Kim Wayans didn't just survive the In Living Color chaos, she owned her space in it.
And ugly is one of them. The face mask mandate is the best thing that ever happened to that girl. Don't let them pretty green eyes fool you. From the nose down, she's all horse.
And honestly, Kim Wayans deserves way more flowers than she actually gets. Every time someone puts out one of those top female comedians of the 90s lists and somehow forgets her, it feels like the internet collectively got amnesia. This is the woman who went toe-to-toe with her powerhouse brothers, anchored some of the show's sharpest sketches, and created one of the most quotable characters on television. Leave her off the list if you want, but Bonita Buttrell would have a lot to say about that. And trust, Kim Wayans' legacy isn't going anywhere, whether the list makers remember or not. Number 2, they had a full-time Michael Jackson impersonator because they needed him every week. Tommy Davidson could do a lot of impressions. Sammy Davis Jr., Nat King Cole, Smokey Robinson, but his Michael Jackson was different. High voice, soft-spoken delivery with perfect spins. That uncanny, wide-eyed innocence that made every sketch land harder than it should have. Tommy's MJ impression was so good, it became a problem. The fun kind of problem where writers couldn't stop using it, and they didn't. The black or white music video parody, the Home Alone sketch where MJ visits Macaulay Culkin, jokes about the Pepsi commercial accident, the surgeries, the tabloid rumors, nothing was off limits. If a sketch needed Michael Jackson, Tommy went to wardrobe, got powdered up, and cameras rolled.
And then I got a nose job and changed my chin and made my skin light. Hey. Look me in the face and tell me if you think I'm black or white.
Most celebrities would have sent lawyers, and for years, fans have claimed that Michael Jackson himself sent a lawyer saying he loved the sketches, but to be clear, that's a rumor, not a confirmed fact. No credible interview, archival material, or verified statement shows Jackson personally reaching out to Keenen Ivory Wayans. What is true is that the parodies were so popular and so eerily accurate that people believed he must have seen them. Whether or not the King of Pop actually wrote a thank you note, the impact of those sketches was undeniable. Tommy Davidson wasn't just doing impressions, he was keeping one of the biggest stars in human history alive in the comedy bloodstream every Sunday night. Number 1, Jamie Foxx got rejected, then became one of the show's biggest stars. Jamie Foxx didn't walk into In Living Color as a sure thing. Far from it, actually. He's joked in interviews that he had to keep coming back until the Wayans got tired of saying no. The exact number of auditions lives somewhere between multiple and too many, depending on which fan rumor you believe. What is confirmed is that he was turned down more than once and he refused to quit. When he finally broke through in season 3, he unleashed Wanda, the loud, love-struck character who instantly became one of the show's most legendary creations.
Oh, okay. Oh, you must have a gas bubble or something. Ooh, it smells like that hog head cheese I had earlier this morning.
The moment she hit the screen, it was clear Foxx wasn't just another cast addition, he was a weapon the show didn't know it needed. Those early characters defined Jamie Foxx's entire comedic identity and laid the foundation for everything that came next. A hit sitcom, critically acclaimed film roles, 2 Oscar nominations in the same year, and performances in movies like Ray, Collateral, Django Unchained, Dreamgirls, and Just Mercy that proved he could match and often outshine Hollywood heavyweights. He didn't just collect trophies, he earned them, winning the Oscar for Ray, picking up a Grammy, and becoming one of the few entertainers who can legitimately dominate comedy, drama, and music. And through it all, he never stopped crediting the Wayans for giving him space to grow. That show didn't just put him on TV, it put him in the room with a family of creators who demanded excellence and rewarded fearlessness. Jamie Foxx walked in hungry and walked out a powerhouse. Exactly the kind of talent In Living Color was built to unleash. And there you have it, 15 weird facts about In Living Color. Which fact surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments section because we actually read them and occasionally respond like functional adults. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next dive into the shows that shaped a generation. Until next time, homie, don't play that. This is Remember When.